Hello, Periscope. Hello, Periscope. I am making marinara sauce and I'm canning it, and I wanted to show you a different way. I scoped a couple weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks? Gosh, a long time ago already, where I processed the tomatoes in the food mill before I cooked them, and this time I'm doing it the other way around. I've cooked them down with some onions and garlic, and so now that they've cooked for probably half an hour, the tomatoes are broken down, the skins are coming free of the tomato, and I'm going to ladle them into my food mill, and I'm going to work them up that way. And I thought I would show you how easy it is, or how certainly doable it is for the average bear. And my name is Jenny, and I blog at adomesticwildflower.com. And I just wrote a post last week about canning tomatoes, and I think I'll be sharing this recipe on the blog also. So I'm going to ladle my really hot tomatoes into the hopper of my food mill. And this is just tomatoes and garlic and onions. It's 9 pounds of Roma tomatoes, half of an onion, and 3 cloves of garlic, and a tablespoon of olive oil. That's all it is so far. And I'm going to fill this up. It's pretty hot. Whoa. I'm a really messy, well, I guess canning is messy. You're not going to can and not make a mess, I don't think, but that's okay. That's the price you pay for awesome tomato sauce. You can hear the sauce dripping down into the pot, probably. And that's good. That's probably full enough. I'm gonna start turning. And if you just popped on, my name is Jenny, and I blog at adomesticwildflower.com. And I'm making marinara sauce, and I'm gonna can it in a water bath here pretty soon. So I'm just pressing the soft tomatoes through this. It's kind of like a cheese grater, but horizontal as opposed to vertical. And this metal flat thing presses the tomatoes through it, and the seeds, some of the seeds and most of the skin stays up top, and then the soft tomato sauce and juice goes to the bottom. And it's pretty fast. So yeah, that hopper full is almost completely done right now. Or it is done. I'm done. I'm going to ladle some more in. And work it up that way. Lots of people ask how long canning takes. And it kind of does take a while. Honestly, it does take a little while, but I always think of canning as like you're cooking in advance, because in the months to come, I will have all this pasta sauce made, and I won't have to cook it at all. I'll just have to warm it up, and then like in the time it takes to boil some pasta, I will have not only the pasta but the sauce already cooked too. So supper time is expedited as a result of canning, I think, and that's part of the reason I love it. So it's actually pretty fast over the long term, but it took me probably 20 minutes to chop up all the tomatoes and the onions, and then they were simmering and getting soft for probably another half an hour. So that's a whole hour of time that from starting to now. And while they were cooking, I filled up 2 pots with boiling water, and my jars that they're simmering right now, but I brought them to a boil, so they'll be sterile and piping hot for when it's time to put the sauce in jars. So to do a big recipe like 9 pounds, I would say it'll take me like 3 hours. But that's a lot of pasta sauce. That's probably 16, I bet I'll have 16 or more, 16 or more pints. That's 2 cups per pint. So that's a lot of sauce, really. That's a lot of dinners. Lots of times I'll make pasta sauce with just 1 cup of sauce. So, so that hopper full is done right there. Does anyone have any canning questions? If you have any, go ahead and fire away in the chat bar there. If you've just popped on, my name is Jenny, and I blog at adomesticwildflower.com. And I love sharing canning and sewing and other domestic pursuits because I think it's a lot easier than most people think. And I hate the idea of people thinking that, oh, that's way too hard, I can't do that. Because it's not hard. I don't do anything that's hard. I just do easy stuff. And I love showing how doable it is. Okay, it's pretty messy, Jenny, but that's okay. Okay, so we're working this up. I'm well over halfway done with my pot. When I do this, I always think that since I'm in my teeny tiny kitchen that my phone is going to fog up from all the steam, but it hasn't happened yet because it is pretty steamy in here. But if you ever have any questions, please fire away. I love answering questions. In my posts about canning, I have shared this food mill a couple times. This is a food mill, and I think they are like far and away one of the most useful things you could ever purchase or use in your kitchen because there's no motor to them. There's no electrical cord. It's not gonna. There's no plastic parts that will break. It's gonna last you forever, and they are really, really useful in a lot of ways. Mine was given to me at my baby shower for mushing up baby food, and I did use it for that, but it's super, super useful for processing food. So I'm going to stand in front of the camera. Sorry, I put my back to you, but I'm going to pour this in here like that. The pot mama. Okay. Hot. You got it all? Okay. So that, in the time that we've been scoping, is 9 pounds of tomatoes plus an onion and some garlic, and I'm just processing it into a very smooth sauce with no skin. And when I'm done turning this little knob here, I'll put it back on the stove and cook it down till it's considerably thicker and darker in color by a shade or two. So that'll probably take another 30 minutes. And then I will pull one jar at a time out of my boiling water bath and ladle the sauce into it and put a lid on and put it back in the hot water bath. And when all the jars in that particular pot are filled with tomato sauce, I'll set the timer when the water's boiling again. And I think they process for 30 minutes. So it does, like I said, sometimes it does take kind of a long time. Like you have to be home for kind of a long time. But it makes the rest of cooking for the rest of the year, I think, a lot faster. So to me, it's cooking in advance. Just makes one hot, steamy afternoon, dirty some pots, but then I have really, really good pasta sauce the rest of the year. So I'm just getting through, I'm almost done. Boiling, boiling, boiling. That's what the skins look like. Oh God, it's hot. Yeah, it's pretty slick, this little food mill. I love them. I think they're fabulous. So useful. The other way that I've shown people how to do this is that I just chop the tomatoes up raw and put them in up top, and I don't cook them down first. And it's a little bit more physical exertion required to press them through the food mill, which, that's okay. I probably need more physical exertion, but this is pretty slick too. But it's just, the tomatoes are just hotter, so that's 6 of one, a half dozen of the other. But I think that's about it. There's not that much coming through the bottom anymore. Okay. So I'm gonna take my wooden spoon. And doesn't that look just like tomato sauce? Like that's it. That's it. Except for homemade tomato sauce isn't full of sugar or other ingredients that maybe you don't want to eat or don't know if you want to eat. This is just tomatoes. and onions and garlic. Okay, so now that I've done that, I'm going to move my food mill out of the way. And I'm going to set this back on the burner. And that's, oh, I better show you. That's like the, so it's pretty watery. It looks like tomato juice, like maybe what you'd put in a Bloody Mary. But I'm going to turn it back on medium-high. And, yeah, like on 5. Perfect. And I'll let it cook for probably 25 or 35 minutes. And then, so stir it occasionally. And then I'll put it into jars and can it up. Does anyone have any questions before I sign off? Okay, thanks Periscope. Happy canning. We'll see you soon.